Okay, so we're back here to talk about the second half of season 1 of Friendship is Magic, with the second episode in the Grand Galloping Gala trilogy, another character study episode with Rarity and Suited for Success. This is the episode where Rarity is working on her dress for the gala, Twilight and Applejack show up, and Twilight asks Rarity to kind of do some work on her dress. Like, yeah, this is what I'm going to wear. It's very simple. It's very me. Can you just kind of, like, do some touch-ups, like some tailoring for it? Rarity's like, oh, no, darling. I'm going to give you something wonderful. And then she asks Applejack, like, all right, like, what are you going to wear? Shoot, I'm just going to wear my work duds. No, you ain't. Like, okay, like, if we're going to a party, I don't care if you are going to the actual dance. I don't care if you are going to hang out with animals. I don't care if you're going to go just try to sell all your apple treats. I'm going to make sure that my friends look wonderful. So, she is working on dresses for everybody. She has a 2-part song. The first part of the song, the art of the dress, is making everyone's dresses like, this is why I think this would look great for Rainbow Dash, this is what I think would look great for Fluttershy, etc, etc, etc. And then she shows her friends the new designs. And her friends' reactions are, those are, something. That's right, it is something. Something is my favorite. Because they just don't like them. And Rarity's like, you know what? You are my friends. You are my clients. I am making something for y'all. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. I will just have to change it to make it more akin to your tastes. The second part of her song is Rarity kind of slowly losing her mind, having to adhere to what her friends all want. Like, Applejack is definitely more of a function over form. Rainbow Dash just wants something, quote, cool. It needs to be about 20% cooler. Pinkie just wants shit that's, like, super over the top. Fluttershy, with her freaky knowledge of sewing, is like, this is exactly what I want. Twilight Sparkle is like, I want it to be as accurate as possible when talking. It's like, these are the fucking constellations I want. These are the stars I want. I want it to be exactly like how they are in the sky. And Rarity just going like, these are the ugliest things I have ever made. I am embarrassed to have created these. But you know what? I might hate them. I might think this is the worst thing I have ever made in my life. But if my friends are happy, my friends are happy. And then Spike shows up and he's like, Rarity, you'll never guess the cool thing that I just did. Do you know who Hoity Toity is? And she's like, oh, you know, like the fashion icon and shit? Yeah! So, since I, like, am from Canterlot, I pulled some strings to get him here so he can take a look at your dresses. And Rarity damn near dies on the spot. Like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I am about to meet someone who is highly influential in my field. Something that could make or break my career. And the things you are about to see are the worst pieces of shit I have ever had to make. Oh. So they have their fashion show. Shout out to the debut of Vinyl Scratch. And it goes about as poorly as Rarity thought it would. With the dresses being laughed at, talking about how, like, the designs are amateurish, everything looks awful. Rarity getting full credit for it. And her friends realizing, oh, we look like jackasses. Oh, these dresses look terrible, and we just kind of ruined our friend's reputation. Huh. So they work together using Fluttershy's, quote, freaky knowledge of sewing to create Rarity's dress. And they redo the fashion show for Hoity Toity with Rarity's original designs that her friends are now happy with. The fashion show goes great. Rarity's thing goes well. And the moral of the story is twofold. First fold, Rarity learns... what was it? if you try to please everyone, or every pony, excuse me, if you try to please every pony, you end up pleasing no pony, so don't do shit like that, and the rest of the main cast learn to not look a gift horse in the mouth. If someone is giving you something, don't be an asshole about it. And it's one of those morals where I feel like it's in the heart is in the right place. I think it works very well with the episode, but there is a but there. And the but here is, this is commission work. If I am trying to get something commissioned, like, I don't draw. I don't fucking know how to draw. Like, I know technically how to draw, but, like, I can draw a stick figure like no one's business. But that's about it. Like, my drawing skills are fucking complete dog shit. But I do love commissioning art. I love commissioning art for my characters. I like commissioning art of, like, other shit. There is a specific piece of art that I've wanted to commission for years. And one day, I'll actually get around to doing it. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the channel before. I probably have. But it is of the cast of Little Witch Academia. Like, the main students, like Akko and her friends, and Diana and her friends. But it's recreating... it's recreating the album art to Straight Outta Compton. And the reason for that is Straight Outta Compton is by NWA, and Little Witch Academia abbreviated as LWA. So I just have this in my head, and it's really fucking funny. Like, at some point, I'm gonna commission someone for this. That's gonna be great. But to my point, if you are commissioning work from somebody, I genuinely feel like within... It's like, as long as what you are requesting is something that they are able to do, and it is reasonable for their skill level, for what you are paying, and for time constraints, they do kind of need to adhere to what the client is asking for. There's actually an episode in a later season, I don't remember what it is. I think it's like, what is it called? It's like Inspiration Manifestation or something like that. It's the one where Spike grabs the Necronomicon. Because I remember watching that episode because I think Wyatt was playing Eternal Darkness. And I remember watching it just thinking, should Spike take the Tome of Eternal Darkness? No. No, he shouldn't. But he's gonna. And he gives it to Rarity. And then Rarity has the magical power to, instead of having to go through the process of, like, making things, she can snap her fingers and any design she has just, like, comes to life. And from what I remember, it's a great fucking episode. But at the start of the episode, she is working on a commission for someone who I believe is trying to make, like, a wagon or something for his, like, traveling puppet show. And Rarity makes it a lot... Like, she does a form over function, where for him, he's like, I needed the function. That was way more important to me because of why I'm making this commission. So I feel like the moral is... If you're trying to please everyone, you're not pleasing anyone. In the field of commissions, doesn't really work. And in, like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I don't know. If this is a commission, you kind of have every right to do so. Which is where I get a little confused in this episode, because on the one hand, it seems like it is very clear Rarity is not... I think she even says, she's like, no, don't worry about it, I'm going to pay for it. But there is a line in the second part of the song, it's even if you simply have to fudge it, make sure that it stays within our budget, which implies that they are paying her. So I feel like if this is something that Rarity said, I got y'all, I'm going to do this for you as a gift to my friends, definitely it's like, alright, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. But maybe you could have asked them for what they wanted if you're making something specifically for them, but they also trust her. If they are paying for it as paying customers for a commission, they do have the right to say, this isn't quite what I was looking for. Could we maybe, like, change this part or this part or this part? I do feel like that's reasonable. I feel like the basic part of the moral is like, yeah, if someone is doing you a solid and is giving you a gift, don't be an asshole. Great moral. If you try to please everyone, you're not pleasing anyone. also a generally, like, solid moral. I think that, I know I've seen this video of David Bowie say something very similar to that. He's like, look, like, if you're a creative person, people are always going to hate you. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how good you are at what you do or how passionate, how much you believe in it. Like, you're not going to please everybody, so just do you. But again, with commission work, you're not trying to please everybody. You're trying to please the client, who very likely came to you because they trust you, they already like you. So I feel like it gets a bit muddled-ish in context. This is still a fantastic episode. Like, I love the dresses. I think they just look... Like, I'm not someone who's super into fashion or designs in that regard, so I just think these all look neat. These all look fucking pretty. I like both versions of the song. Yeah, like, a very popular fandom character debuted in this episode. You don't get to see Vital Scratch very much, but it's always cool when she shows up. Or DJ Pone 3, as the other name is. I love an episode about a creative person being able to be creative. She's like, I can't wait to make these fucking dresses. I'm gonna do this because XYZ reasons. This might be great for Dash. This is why this would be really good for Fluttershy, etc., etc. I love watching Rarity trying to hold on to her sanity as her vision is crumbling around her. This is a fantastic episode. It really, really is. Even with my kind of problems-ish with the moral, it's one where, unlike something like Ghostbusters, I feel like the heart is very much in the right place. I'm just a little muddled with some of the details. Feeling Pinkie keen. This episode is basically an episode of Looney Tunes. It is slapstick. It is goofy shit. It is a Twilight Sparkle and Pinkie Pie episode. This is the debut of the Pinkie sense, where Pinkie will just... weird shit will happen to her body. Her ears will flop, and she's like, oh shit, if my ears are flopping, that means this is gonna happen. My tail is twitching. That means this is gonna happen. Like, Pinkie is a psychic. And she's like, oh yeah, if this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, all one right after the other, it's a combo, which means this thing is gonna happen. With essentially the plot of the episode being Twilight learns about the Pinkie sense and says, that's fucking stupid. That doesn't exist. I refuse to believe in it. And as the episode goes on and more shit happens, she keeps trying to test it and prove that it doesn't exist, and every attempt just doesn't work, and she says, you know what? Fuck it. This is some devil's proof. I can't prove that it, like, I don't believe it, but I also can't prove that it doesn't exist. And because every attempt to prove that it doesn't exist has utterly failed, I'm just gonna say that I believe it. I think I can live my life a little easier if I just say that I believe this shit. From what I understand, this is a very controversial episode because a lot of people, from what I understand, a lot of people are like, it seems like the moral is just saying believe in religion. And it's like, if you can't disprove something, it must be true. And that's kind of shitty. And like, I get that. But I've even said before, like, I am a religious person, so that doesn't necessarily rub me the wrong way. I'm not like, oh my god, this episode is saying to believe in God. That means it must be a great episode. It's just like, it doesn't bother me, but I can see why it would bother someone else. For me, it's this episode, like I said, it's just Looney Tunes. It's just goofy shit. I believe it is also the first episode to intentionally give Derpy the derp eyes. In the first episode, there is a shot of, like, when they're in Twilight's party in the library. There is a pony in the background with these fucking wall eyes. And she became incredibly popular and got the name Derpy Hooves. I believe this was the first, I heard this was the first episode made after the after the show premiered. So as a nod to this background character getting incredibly popular, she is, like, in the foreground for a bit where she drops some shit on Twilight's head because, again, some goofy Looney Tunes shit. I think one of them was even an anvil. And she specifically has the walleyes. And yeah, just kind of from this point forward, there will just be shots of her in the background, sometimes in the foreground, just doing shit. I don't remember what episode it was, but I know that I watched one pretty recently with Lyra and Bon just hanging out, and then Derpy just appears next to the... I think they're like by a well, and Derpy just pops up out of the well with her fucked up eyes, and I don't know, it was great. I thought it was goofy as hell. This episode is great. This episode is goofy as hell. I think it's an S-tier episode. I just think it's really entertaining. It's really funny. I like the idea of the Pinkie sense. I think it's a cool, neat little thing, and it just makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's great. Sonic Rainboom, the Rainbow Dash character study episode. The episode where you realize that Rainbow Dash is Kamina from Gurren Lagann. She is a character that is buying her own hype, extremely braggadocious, cocksure, arrogant, whatever word you want to use, and none of it is actually real. It is pure, unadulterated bravado. This is a character who, at their core, is very insecure about who they are, about how good they are, and is very fragile. In this episode, Rainbow Dash is entering a contest. It is the Best Young Flyers competition in her home city of Cloudsdale, which I believe is the first time you get to see Cloudsdale. I don't know if it's the first time it's mentioned. I think it is. And because it's a city in the sky and on the clouds, only Fluttershy can go with her. So they have a... Rainbow Dash is trying to teach her how to cheer. And out of context, it definitely sounds like they're talking about sex. And I think it's really funny. And it's like, all right, what are the things you need? Screaming and hollering, loss of control, passion. That's right. So now that you know how to make a good cheer, fucking do it. I'm like, this is a great joke. Fluttershy kind of and then part of Rainbow Dash's routine is to recreate the Sonic Rainboom, a sonic boom that ends in a rainbow. Something that is mythical and that only one pony in history has ever done, and apparently that one pony was Rainbow Dash when she was just a little bitty filly. And even though she has done it before, she has never been able to replicate it again, to the point where people think she's bullshitting. That is how she wants to end her performance. That's how she wants to win. And if you win the Best Young Flyers competition, you get to spend a day with the Wonderbolts, which, as said before, are her heroes. That is her goal, is she wants to join the Wonderbolts. So this is something where if she wins, it is a genuine step toward her dream. But alas, she is unable to recreate the Sonic Rainboom, and it is starting to get to her. She is starting to think, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe despite how good the rest of my shit is, I can't win. And if I can't win, what am I? The rest of her friends agree to go with. Because they are not Pegasi, they cannot just stand on the clouds, so Twilight finds a spell to give everybody wings, which she only casts on Rarity because of how exhausting it is. So for the other three, for her, AJ, and Pinkie, she has cast a spell where they can walk on clouds. But Rarity gets full-on, like, butterfly, gossamer wings, and everyone in Cloudsdale's like, damn! Look at those wings. That's crazy. And there's this one scene where there's this old man who's like, I could watch you fly all day. I'm like, I bet you could, you old fucker. Oh, that's great. Also, you get to explore the weather factory where rainbows are made. Shout out to Rainbow Factory. Oh, I love me some Rainbow Factory. Both the song and the fanfic. Like, it's fucky, but it's great. There's also a Rainbow Dash Presents episode on Rainbow Factory, because of course there's a Rainbow Dash Presents episode on Rainbow Factory, and it's great. The head is backward. I fucking love that shit. Good old Thracker's on. Anyways, Rarity ends up entering the Best Young Flyers competition. Rainbow Dash keeps trying to delay the inevitable of her being, of her not being able to complete the Rainboom and looking like a complete fool in front of everybody. She and Rarity perform at the same time. Rainbow Dash is doing really shitty because she's in her own head. Rarity flies too close to the sun and gets Icarus and falls to her death. The Wonderbolts then go to try to save her, but Rarity flailing around knocks them all out. Rainbow Dash goes and saves them by creating the Sonic Rainboom. And she wins the competition and gets to go hang out with the Wonderbolts for a day. And Rarity's like, cool, so I just learned an important lesson about not being really fucking arrogant and full of myself. I just learned that, like, hey, if my friend isn't doing well, I should try to genuinely cheer her up instead of show her up. That's a good lesson. I'm not gonna lie. I used to not super care for this episode. Like, I always understood. It's like, this is a good episode. It has a good climax. But Rainbow Dash is my favorite character, and the reason I love her is because she's so fucking fun. She is just, I keep saying that she's like the piece of shit friend. She is still a good friend, you know, she is loyal, she does care about them, but she is the piece of shit friend. And she is very full of herself. I think that's what makes her so fun. So seeing an episode where she's literally like huddled up in a corner, I'm like, I don't know how much I like this. But it really clicked with me. I was like, no, it's what grounds Rainbow Dash. Without this episode, I feel like Rainbow Dash is a genuinely fun character. I like how much of a piece of shit she is, but she's still just kind of a piece of shit. This is what truly humanizes her. I mean, I don't know. Equinizes her? Is that how you would say it? I don't know, so I'm just gonna say humanize. It's what makes her a lot more relatable. It makes all of her... Again, it's like, this is when you realize the arrogance is all just bravado, and this is the person beneath it all, and I feel like that's really sympathetic. There's an episode... I want to say it's in season 4. I don't remember what season it is. It's the episode where Rainbow Dash is studying for a written test about the Wonderbolt's history, and if she passes the test, it's like another step toward becoming a Wonderbolt. And she is having a lot of trouble studying for the test. And it's an episode about, it's essentially an episode about people's different learning styles. And how, you know, trying to teach Rainbow Dash like this or like this, she just doesn't click with because that's not how her brain works. But what they learn at the end of the episode is like, this is how Rainbow Dash best learns, and if you teach her like this, it'll go perfectly. There's a scene where she's talking to Twilight Sparkle, and they're having this conversation where Rainbow Dash is essentially saying, I am a fucking stupid, useless, like, sack of shit, and I will never amount to anything in my life. And Twilight saying, what are you talking about? Like, have you met you? You are genuinely one of my favorite people. And I am not saying that because I just need to cheer you up because you feel bad. I'm saying that because I love you. Because you are genuinely one of the most important people in my life. You should not feel like this. And here's all the reasons why you're a fantastic person. And Rainbow Dash essentially saying, I don't believe you. Like, I appreciate it, but I don't believe you. And I remember watching that and thinking, I've had that conversation. I've been on both sides of that conversation. This is fascinating. And I feel like those kind of insights into Rainbow Dash's character, I think, do make her really strong. This is another S tier episode. It's like, damn, it really fucking hit its stride. Yeah, let's bring down the curve a little bit with Stairmaster. First episode with Apple Bloom. First episode to kind of do something with Apple Bloom. First episode where Apple Bloom is the main character. This is really the first Crusader episode. Because while Scootaloo and Sweetie Belle are here, they don't, like, join the group and, like, the main cast until the very end. Stairmaster is like, cool. Here's the 3 kids. They want to get their cutie marks. They're best friends, and they're just kind of annoying. And you either get into the spirit of dealing with annoying kids, or you don't. Which reminds me, earlier today I was visiting my parents, and my 3-year-old niece was over there, and I didn't actually know she was she turns 3 in April or May. I actually didn't realize she was that old already. I was like, what the fuck? How? She was born a year ago! And I asked her, I was like, hey, how old are you? To which she says, and at this point, like, they had already told me, so I knew how old she was. She's like, I'm 12. O'clock. I laughed really hard at that. I was like, damn, you're high noon years old. That's so cool. Anyways, it was like, speaking of kids, this is an episode where Sweetie Belle is annoying the hell out of Rarity. More on that in season 5. Oh, yeah, because this is the episode that reveals that Sweetie Belle and Rarity are sisters. Rarity is supposed to babysit all 3 of them for their sleepover. She's like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. Dealing with 1 kid is enough. I don't want to deal with 3, and I have a lot of important work that I have to do, and I think, like, Sweetie Belle fucked with her shit. More on that in an episode in season 2. You're like, I can't deal with this shit right now. Fluttershy comes over and is like, hey, Rarity, here's your cat, blah, 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 blah. They have a quick conversation with Fluttershy saying, hey, I'm good with animals, and children are just animals. Let me take care of the cutie weedy little kitties. With Rarity going, Fluttershy? I mean, no disrespect, darling, but children and animals are pretty fucking different. And Fluttershy going, it'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? I love kids. Kids love me. I love animals. Animals love me. Let me look after them. You're busy. Come on. And the 3 kids going, please. Being with Fluttershy sounds so cool. So Rarity relents. Fluttershy looks after the 3 of them, who, being the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and it also being Fluttershy, they don't listen to a damn thing she says. Fluttershy is starting to get frustrated, but not angry. He's like, I have an idea. Let's all go to sleep. Oh, we're not tired. Let's all go to sleep. So she sings a lullaby, and then Sweetie Belle sings like a gospel rendition of the lullaby. It's actually kind of hype. I like it quite a bit. And then the 3 chicken ends up going missing, so the 3 kids sneak out to go find the chicken. Goes, we can get chicken finding Cutie Marks. And Fluttershy goes, oh, fuck, I need to go find the 3 kids. Follows them into the forest. Twilight is there, because Twilight has to be shoehorned into every episode in season 1. And for the most part, I don't feel like it's super noticeable. I'm like, no, like, makes a lot of sense here, here, here. I can buy it. And then you get this episode, I'm like, there is no reason for Twilight to be in this episode. It's just because she's the main character and she has to be the one writing the lessons. Shout out for lesson 0 for the writers finding a way to say, yeah, we don't need to throw Twilight in all the time. Twilight is turned to stone because there's a cockatrice on the loose. Strolling nightly, hold your families tightly. Remembering another fan song. Fluttershy uses her power, the stare, where she can just, like, stare into an animal's eyes and, like, intimidate it, make it do what she wants, which is essentially what she did here at, in the climax of Dragonshy. So she overcomes the cockatrice, it reverses the stone on Twilight and anything else, and the 3 kids are like, yo, we didn't get our cutie marks, but damn, Fluttershy's kind of badass. So after that, they go, fuck, what happens after that? Rarity comes to pick them up, and that's basically the end of the episode. It's fine. I think this is a C-tier episode. Like, I don't think it's disappointing. Like, I don't think it's really bad. It's just really mid. I don't think there's anything about it that's that memorable to me. I mean, like, the cockatrice is cool, but I've seen shit like that before. The stare is pretty fun, but I think it's done better in another episode this season. I don't think it's particularly funny, and it's definitely not the Crusaders' best outing this season. Speaking of which, or arguably, wait. Oh, wait. This isn't the right order. There we go. Showstoppers. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it where it needs to go. I don't think it's an S tier episode. I don't think I could say I like this as much as some of these. This is such a strong, definitive A tier episode. It's so fucking funny. I don't think it's as funny as this. Because this is just good old-fashioned slapstick. This is funny in the way that The Room is funny, but it's intentionally that way. And it's gold. So what the plot of the episode is, it's the Crusaders like, cool, let's just do a bunch of random bullshit to see if we can get our cutie marks. And it doesn't work. Then they realize that there's a talent show, and they think, hey, if we compete in the talent show and we win, maybe we'll find what we're really good at. Applejack gives them like her old clubhouse, and so they're like, cool, now we have a place where we can hang out, we can plan, let's do shit. So throughout the episode, it becomes very clear what each of the three of them is good at. Apple Bloom has a talent for like design and carpentry. She fixes up the clubhouse. She does it by herself. It ends up looking really nice. And there's a part later where when they're, because they decide they're going to do a play, Sweetie Belle's like, my sister's a designer. I am going to do all the designs for the dresses and the, like for the dresses and the sets and all of like our props and shit. And Apple Bloom's like, hey, this is probably what you should do. This thing, this thing, this thing. And it's very clear, like, okay, Apple Bloom has an eye for design and a talent for carpentry. Cool. Instead, Apple Bloom decides that she's going to be the dancer and the choreographer. And she's really fucking bad at it. Scootaloo is really good at physical stuff. Like, she has a scooter that she rides everywhere. She can do, like, good tricks on her scooter and all that kind of shit. She likes me. You ever watch Rocket Power? She's basically like Auto Rocket. Like, you give her like a skate. I mean, I don't think you ever see her with a skateboard. You just see her with a scooter. But there is an episode where Auto is like killing, like shredding shit on a scooter. That's the kind of shit she's good at. And so, being the most like coordinated of the three, she is the one to tell Apple Bloom like, hey, your choreography and your dancing isn't going very well. This is probably what you should do. Or I think like Apple Bloom falls. She's like, could you teach me how to do some of your cool tricks? Yeah, sure. Just blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, this is what you're good at. Sweetie Belle is a singer. She like genuinely has a very pretty voice. She's able to come up like with lyrics really easily. We see one episode prior, she is a very good singer. But she has, like, stage fright, so she doesn't want to do that. And Scootaloo's like, I'm gonna be the singer, and I'm gonna try to write a song, and it doesn't fucking go well. So when you get to the performance, you have terrible choreography from Apple Bloom, terrible singing from Scootaloo, and I think it is one of those where, like, if you listen, like, close enough, you can hear Scootaloo's voice actress just laughing, like, while she's singing, and it's great. And then while they're in these really goofy, over-the-top outfits with these terrible fucking sets behind them. This episode is amazing. I think the build-up to I think the play itself is really funny. I think what really sells it is, like I said, it's very clear what each of these three is good at, and probably if they focused on that thing they were really good at, they could find their cutie mark. They could find what makes them special. But because they're, like, so ADD about it, they're like, hey, well, I've done this shit before and it didn't get me my cutie mark, so let me try something else. And I think that's pretty funny. I will say, looking forward to what their cutie marks actually are, I don't really like it. Not this. It's like, I don't think I really like what their cutie marks end up being. That's because they all get the same cutie mark. I mean, it's like full spoilers. Essentially, what their cutie marks are is, hey, what's our talent? Our talent is helping other people find what they're good at. Because there's a few... Excuse me. I think there's, like, a couple episodes that season that sort of focus on that. And it's like, hey, now they find what they really can do, I guess. And they do some shit with it later in the show. So I guess it's fine. But it always just felt like it was very clear early on what they could all do. And then in addition to that, Apple Bloom has this genuine talent for potion making, which I think is cool. And they just did something else that I just don't think is nearly as interesting. I think it's actually kind of shitty. It's like, what are you good at? I'm good. I don't want to say it's like, how do I want to say it then? I think what I don't like about it is it takes away from their uniqueness. I don't think there's anything wrong with things like, what are you really good at? What I'm really good at is helping other people. Because that's like what a guidance counselor is. And that's really fucking cool. I think that's something that's very important. I just don't like that all three of them have the exact same thing because it homogenizes the characters when they very clearly aren't. Like, these are three distinct people. And that gets lost when they act. You can get to see it, but there's like a bunch of spittle when I said lost. Like, that was kind of nasty. But I feel like that does get lost when they finally get their cutie marks. I don't know. Maybe I'll rewatch the episode and be like, no, this works. Now that I'm like seeing the show and how everything builds up to it, I really like it. Or I'm like, nah, this is stupid. But we'll see. This episode, that was like, again, I don't think it's quite an S tier, but it's an A. It's really good. Dog and Pony Show. This is the episode with the Diamond Dogs, and despite the fact that a lot of ideas and characters recur throughout the show, I don't think the Diamond Dogs ever came back. Current Project Horizons. This is the episode where Rarity and Spike go gem hunting. Rarity gets kidnapped by the Diamond Dogs, who are dogs that love gems and shit, and they're like, hey, we're gonna use you to find gems and dig for them. And Spike wants to go save her and be her hero, and Rarity doesn't need it. Rarity is just taking care of her own business. And I think it's hilarious. She is so annoying in this episode, and she weaponizes her ability to be annoying. I remember the first time I watched it, I couldn't stand it. I was like, this is why I don't like this character. This is awful. This is annoying. It's like, yeah, it's the moral of the episode is like, you know, like just because she's a lady, just because she's a woman, or just because she's more like dignified and prim, doesn't mean she can't handle herself. And I'm like, that's great. She literally gets out of a situation by nagging. I don't know. It's like, I don't think that's what we should be doing. I don't think that's that empowering for women to say, like, you can nag your way out of a situation. That feels like very much leading into a negative stereotype. But I'll be honest, it's really funny. But I think the other way you can look at it is it's not that she does it by nagging. She does it by being smart. She does it by being clever and understanding this is what they don't like, and I know how to use it against them. It's not. There's a bit of adventure in this episode with the other characters, like having to kind of fight the Diamond Dogs and going underground and shit, which I do like. I think that's pretty fun. Spike has this one, like, imagined spot where he's this strong dragon just, like, come, you dogs, and, like, beating the shit out of them, and, you know, in the back of my head, I'm just thinking, where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? I think it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's an S tier episode, though. I think it's, like, about Showstoppers tier. It's like, I think it's a funny episode with a funny concept. It rules. Green isn't your color. This is the episode with photo finish. We go. The magics. I like photo finish. I was like, I don't think she's in a whole lot of episodes further, but whenever you see her, I just smile. This is the episode where Fluttershy gets famous for being a model, and Rarity is really jealous that Fluttershy is getting all the attention that Rarity herself wants, but it's like, hey, she's my friend. I don't want to be an asshole. If she is happy, I want her to be happy. I want her to be successful. You know what? If she has what I don't have, then I want her to have it, and I want her to just hold on to it. And Fluttershy, being Fluttershy, is like, man, I really don't want this. I don't like all this attention. I don't like not having time for my friends, or for my animals, or for myself. But Rarity's really encouraging it, and Rarity seems to really want this for me, so I think I just have to keep doing it? And both of them tell this to Twilight, and Rarity's like, Twilight, I just don't want Fluttershy to be successful in this, and I know that makes me a bad person, but I can't fucking help it, man. And Fluttershy telling Twilight, Twilight, I don't want to do this with my life, but Rarity wants me to, and I can't let her down. Oh, what should I do? But both of them told her, promise not to tell anybody. So Twilight is torn between her loyalty to her friends and being like, look, I made a promise to my friends and I can't break it. And also her common sense of, okay, this person is telling me she doesn't want Rarity is saying, I don't want Fluttershy to do this job. And Fluttershy is saying, I don't want to do the job, but Rarity wants me to do it. Gee, I should probably just fucking tell them the issue and then have them work it out. But Pinkie Pie, who overheard the promises, is like, hey, if you make a promise to somebody, it's really fucked up if you break it. That is a surefire way to break a friendship and to ruin a friendship, is to damage trust. Which leads to one of my favorite visual gags in the show, where Twilight's like, Pinkie, I need to tell you some shit. I don't remember what it was that she told Pinkie. He's like, can you keep a secret? So Pinkie does this long thing where she zips her mouth closed, locks it with a key, digs a hole, buries the key in the hole, builds a house atop of the hole, and then moves into the house atop of the hole. And I love it. I have always, even when I this might have been when I first started liking Pinkie. I was like, that's fucking funny. I really like that joke. And as the episode goes on, it's like Rarity gets more jealous, but is dealing with it the best she can. And Fluttershy is getting more annoyed, but she's dealing with it the best they can. And Fluttershy and Twilight come up with an idea to sabotage Fluttershy's career, but then Rarity gives her, relentless support, which makes Fluttershy more popular, frustrating everybody. And then the two of them have a heart-to-heart at the end of the episode, figuring out, it's like, wait, I don't want to do this. I don't want you to do this. I thought you wanted me to do this. Hell no! And then they, become cool. And Twilight just is overhearing this because they're all talking together, and she's like, I just want to tell you her secret and you her secret because that would literally fix the problem. And I don't know how to feel about the moral in the context of this episode, because again, the idea of when a friend tells you a secret, you keep that fucking secret. It's like, it's what you gotta do, But at the same time, I also look at it and go, that's common fucking sense at the same time. It's like, yeah, if I tell this person this secret, it will fix the issue. And while they might be a little bit mad at me for telling the secret, it'll also just fix both of their problems in the long run. And in the short term too. So maybe I should just do this. I don't know. I do think it's a funny episode. I think it's a solid, probably A-tier episode. It's very entertaining. I think it's very funny. Yeah, I think it works. Would I put it down here? Nah, I think I put it up here. I don't know if you heard that, but that was... Sorry, I farted. I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if it picked it up. I was like, damn, that was kind of a... Fuck, that smells bad. It smells really bad. Fuck. Oh, I'm gonna get a drink of water. Alright, maybe if I speed through this, I can get out of the room and not have to smell this shit anymore. Over a barrel. This is the episode where Fluttershy says she wants to be a tree. Shout out to Killing Joke. This is the episode with my boy Braybird. He doesn't show up very much, but I really like Cousin Braybird. Applejack is going to visit Appaloosa, the Old West style town where her cousin Braybird lives, because she is delivering an apple tree named Bloomberg to help with the orchard. As they are going, their train that they are riding gets attacked, and the car with Bloomberg is stolen by a herd of buffalo. The buffalo are mad at the settlers for settling the buffalo's land, specifically like their ancestral, I believe it was the stampeding grounds, because that's where the orchard is. And the settlers are mad at the buffalo for attacking them and stealing their shit, with neither side ever trying to explain, hey, this is what's up. Can you do this? Can you do this? How should we negotiate? And the main six getting involved. On the one hand, it's an episode where I'm like, as someone who knows some aspects of American history, what it feels like this episode is about, this is kind of, not even kind of, this is like a severe oversimplification of this. And I'm a little bothered by it. Just like a little bit. And on the other hand, I'm like, there are some good jokes in this episode. Here's our horse-drawn carriages, and here's our horse-drawn carriages. Like, I kind of like that. I like how the salute is like a fucking salt lick shit. I'm like, that's good. This is the episode that debuted the wing boner. Like, that's pretty funny. I like the idea of, like, the thing that causes the chief to actually attack, as if, like, they're gonna attack, and then he doesn't, is hearing Pinkie's terrible song. I think that's really fucking funny. Yeah, just the whole, I'd like to be a tree. Like, that's just funny to me. And it's like, oh, that has significant ramifications in full equestrian lore. Wildly enough, I kind of love it. I feel like I want to give it a C. I feel like it is one of those episodes where, like, there's some really strong elements, and there's some elements that kind of make me pull on my collar, and I'm like, I'm not as sure about this one. And I feel like the bad and the good do kind of balance it out to being more neutral. So, Bird in the Hoof. This is the episode where Celestia comes to visit Twilight and meet her friends. And, she has a pet phoenix that is in this, it is in the part of the phoenix's life cycle where it is starting to die, like it is molting. They do not know it is a phoenix. Fluttershy just sees this bird and is like, oh my goodness, it's a bird, it's an animal, but it looks like shit. I need to take care of it and make it feel good. So she kidnaps the princess's pet to try to look after it, make it feel better, and then give it back. But she still kidnapped the princess's pet. Then Twilight comes to visit her. Is like, hey, have you seen the princess's pet bird? Oh my god, it's here with you and it looks worse. Okay, this was really dumb of you. This is really bad, but it's okay. Neurotic Twilight is here and we are going to fix this situation. Which leads to failed attempts to salvage the situation. A Benny Hill chase sequence. Can you cue the music? The phoenix bursts into flame with Fluttershy like holding the ashes and crying. I'm like, that's a meme. I know that's a fucking meme. I've seen that a lot. Celestia being a bit of a good-natured troll pretty early in the episode and at the end too, and I don't even remember what the moral of the episode is. I think it's essentially like, hey, don't steal people, like, don't fuck with people's shit. Ask them first. Talk to them about them first. Don't just be like, hey, I have good intentions, let me act upon them. Like, no. Yo, Road to Hell and Good Intentions. Yo, shout out to Worm, I guess. I'm pretty far into Arc 8. I'm really liking Arc 8. Arc 8's been great. That's the Endbringer fight. That's Leviathan. Like, fuck, this was neat. This is really cool. I just got to the part where we find out who Shadowstalker really is. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. I want to see where this goes, but I gotta record this video and do some other like, probably when I'm done with this, I'm gonna watch some season 2. Hopefully I can finish Worm 8 tomorrow. Maybe get more of it done tonight. Anyways, I kind of want to leave this episode here. Like, I like that it's essentially the debut of Neurotic Twilight, but I didn't find it particularly funny this time around. I'm like, this one's okay. Like, it's not, like, here. I was trying to put it there, but, like, it's not there yet. I think it's about here. Cutie Mark Chronicles. This is the episode where the Sims are like, hey, we need to get our cutie marks. Let's figure it out. And Scootaloo's like, I have an idea. Why don't we ask Rainbow Dash the story of how she got her cutie mark? Because Rainbow Dash is the coolest motherfucker in town. And the other two who have sisters are like, I mean, I think my sister's a little bit cooler, but sure, we can ask Rainbow Dash. And as the episode goes on, they ask every member of the main 6 on their way to Rainbow Dash, how did you get their cutie marks? Applejack wanted to go to Manhattan and become a fancy pony, city pony, living with her cousins, her aunt and Uncle Orange, which, thinking about it, I'm like, wait a second, looking into the future, your other parent was a pear, so how do the oranges relate to this? I mean, it's a big family, I have no doubt about that, but I'm like, is that a continuity error? Is it? But anyways, point. She goes and finds the city life really ain't for her, and she's pining for home, and sees this rainbow, so she follows the rainbow, and it leads her back home, and then she gets her cutie mark because home sweet home and apples. Who's next? I don't know if Twilight is next, or Rarity, or Fluttershy. I'm just going to save Rainbow Dash for last, and then just kind of go in whatever order I feel like. Whoops. Fluttershy's is, there was a race. Rainbow Dash was racing to defend my honor, and when the racers took off, the speed of them racing knocked me off the cloud, which is really funny. Rainbow Dash is like, I'm gonna race for Fluttershy's honor. Also, nearly killed Fluttershy in the process. Then a bunch of butterflies swarmed underneath Fluttershy and kept her from falling and dying, and I've seen a video of a dude who was, like, analyzing scenes from the show. I remember specifically the Sonic Rainboom and this. It was for like a physics project, and he's like, okay, so ways that that this is possible, that Fluttershy's weight could be supported by all these butterflies. On number 1, Fluttershy is made of dark matter. Like, that's hilarious. I absolutely love this. But Fluttershy is saved by the butterflies, so she has this song about how, what is this place filled with so many wonders. Then the Rainboom goes off, or like the explosion goes off. There's a big ass rainbow. All the animals are freaking out. Fluttershy is really nice to the animals, realizes that she loves the ground and loves animals, gets her cutie mark. Sparks, that's Twilight, by the way. I sometimes call her that. Sparks had a exam to get in Celestia's school for gifted unicorns. And what she had to do was hatch a dragon egg, and it didn't work, and she didn't know what she was doing. And then the Rainboom goes off, and it, like, triggers something in Twilight, and she gets super powerful, and she hatches Spike, and does a lot of other shit, like turn her parents into plants. Celestia shows up, calms her down, is like, yo, you have a lot of fucking magical talent. That was badass. You want to be my student? And Twilight goes, yes, 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 yes. And then she starts, like, dancing around in circles, and it's fucking adorable. I love it. Rarity was part of a play, and she was designing the dresses and the outfits for the play, but it wasn't good enough. She wanted it to be perfect. It needed diamonds and gems, and her horn led her to this collection of diamonds and gems, and she took them and put them on the things, and that's when she learned, I am more than a designer. I am a glamorous designer. I am a fabulous designer, and that's where her love of gems comes from. Pinkie lived on a rock farm with her parents and her 2 sisters, even though later we find out she has a 3rd sister, and Maud is great. She's so fucking funny. When does Maud show up? Is that season 4? I want to say, and I know it's not season 2 or season 3. Let's see. I know she's in the Starlight Glimmer show. So she's before season 6. It's season 4 or season 5 is when we meet Maud. I'm actually looking forward to it. She's fantastic. But she lived on a rock farm, and it was miserable, and there was no smiling or happiness. But then the Rainboom happened, and she got to see color, and she was happy, and her hair went from being very long and straight to super curly and energetic. And she throws a party for her family, and her family absolutely loved it, and everyone was smiling, and everyone was happy, and that's how she got her cutie mark. And Rainbow Dash was like, yeah, I was racing for Fluttershy's honor, and I won the race, and I did the Rainboom, and I realized that speed is the coolest fucking thing of all time, and I'm badass, and that's that. And everyone realized, like, wait a second. You're the one who made that rainbow? Shoot. Like, if you didn't make that rainbow, I wouldn't have come home, and I wouldn't have got my cutie mark. Yo, that's wild. Like, if you didn't nearly knock me off and send me to my death dash, I wouldn't have found my talent. Yo, you wouldn't have triggered the Avatar state, and I wouldn't have, like, made Spike be born, etc., etc. And they learned that, you know, sometimes that's the magic of friendship, is sometimes you're friends and connected to people even before you've even met them, and, this might be my favorite episode of the season. I really like this. I don't know if it's for sure my double S, but I'm like, this is genuinely one of my favorite episodes this season. I love backstory episodes. What can I say? I love learning everyone's backstory. I love that it's an episode that has every pony in it. I think there was something else I was going to say, and I don't remember it. I just think it's really good. It's really, really good. It is easily one of my favorites this season. This one's not. This is easily my least favorite episode of the season. I don't like this episode. I don't think I have ever liked this episode. This is the first Spike episode. This one is a dual role. It is a Spike rarity episode. This is all about Spike. Twilight gets a pet, an owl that she names Aloysius, who Spike is her #1 assistant, and he starts to feel like he is being outshined by Aloysius, who is trying to take his place. So Spike ends up being super jealous and like just being an asshole, and boy, I just don't think it works. And then by the end of the episode, Twilight's like, Spike, I would never, like, first off, like, you're basically my little brother. I would never replace you. I love you. But also, like, here's the thing. As great of an assistant as you are, and you'll always be #1, you're still a kid. You're a baby dragon. You have times when you need your rest into sleep. Aloysius is nocturnal. You help me during the day. He helps me at night. It only makes sense. You know what, Twilight? That does make sense. You know what doesn't? The fact that it seems like Aloysius is helping you while it's fucking daylight hours. So it's, no. He is taking Spike's job. Like, what are you talking about? It's, like, I think there's some moments, like, some of the lighting in the episode I think is kind of nice. But, I don't find it funny. I don't find it pleasant to watch. It is the only episode in season 1 I found myself actively dreading to watch. This one a little bit, but I wasn't like dreading it. I'm like, okay. This one a little bit, I'm like, it's at least pretty funny. So the genuine humor of it makes it better. This was not as bad as I thought. This one I wasn't looking forward to. This one at least has Trixie. But this one I was like, boy, I don't want to watch it. Like, I kind of just want to skip it. So far, of everything I've watched in season 1 and of season 2, I think this is the worst episode of the show. I think it's worse than Mare-Duel. Mare-Duel is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's still pretty fucking bad. I think it's easily the worst episode of season 2 thus far. and thinking about what comes up in season 2, I don't think it has a contender, but I just don't like this episode. Then we get this one. There's no point putting Party of One anywhere else except maybe here. This episode's so good. It's also like aside from Rainbow Dash Presents, it's my favorite episode of Mentally Advanced. There's a scene with with Pinkie Pie and Rarity, where Rarity says to Pinkie, you know, Pinkie, how does it go? It's something along the lines of, there was a reasonable threshold where you could have made me feel guilty about my weight. And then you passed it. And then you just kept going. And that phrase, you passed it and just kept going, has been something that Clay and I say to each other for years, if the context works. Kind of like, I don't know, Game of Thrones. There was a point where the show was, like, really good. It maybe could have ended well. And then they passed it and just kept going. Or, I don't know, you could say that about... You definitely say that about Star Wars. But aside from Mentally Advanced, aside from the memes, yes, I love this episode. It is not the first episode to introduce Gummy. That's this one. Gummy is goated. But it does have some Gummy in it, and I love it. Pinkie's singing Telegram, I think, is adorable. I don't know if it's my favorite, like, short Pinkie song, but it might be. I just think it's really, like, it's just, I love it. I really do. Evil Enchantress is probably my favorite, specifically when Flutter Guy is singing it. But I just love that she has this, like, I'm going to invite all my friends to a party, and I'm going to sing it to them, and she has a different outfit for every single one. I think that's great. The fact that her friends are throwing her a surprise party, and they are doing everything in their power to keep her there. They're like, hey, we love her so much, and she does so much good shit for other people. She's so good at throwing parties and getting people excited. We want to do the same for her. She cannot know about it. It's like, I can see the argument that they kind of reach a threshold where they're kind of becoming assholes to her to keep the secret going, but I feel like their hearts are in the right place. I don't think it's that big of an issue. Pinkie interrogating Spike is pretty fucking funny. I like it quite a bit. And, like, Gummy helping by, like, holding his tail in his mouth when he has no teeth is gold. The end of the episode is very sweet with Pinkie realizing, like, no, my friends all love me. They just wanted to throw me a party. They weren't actually avoiding me because they don't want to be my friends. Like, it's good. It's good. I feel like with all of that, it's probably around here. But you get the party scene. The scene where Pinkie completely loses touch with reality. And, like, if you've seen that episode of SpongeBob, the one with the iron butt and the gorilla, where he's friends with the penny, the chip, and we can do without the name calling, use the napkin. Party of One is that, like, that scene from that episode is that shit on crack. This is by far, I can't even say that because there's maybe others. This is probably the most iconic moment of this season. With the winter wrap-up song and maybe some things from Best Night Ever being the contenders for that. It is hilarious. I laugh every time I watch it. I look forward to that scene anytime I watch this episode. I look forward to this episode anytime I watch season 1. I feel like Party of One, like, if you're trying to get someone to watch Friendship is Magic, you're probably not starting with Friendship is Magic. I feel like Winter Wrap-Up is not a bad episode for it. If we're using other seasons, I mean, the Discord episode, you don't have the full context for it, but Return of Harmony is so fucking good. I think Lesson 0 is probably a pretty good one. Party of One is a really good one. The more I'm talking about it, I feel like it seems pretty clear that this is probably the double S of the season. but I like this one a lot. I think it's really between these two. Like, do I like Dragon Shy as much as these two? I don't think I do. Winter Wrap-Up, maybe because of the song, but I don't think so. Not as much. Closer, but not as much. No. You know, yeah. This one maybe, because these are basically the same episode. This is a character study of one of the main characters and kind of peeling behind the layers. Rainbow Dash behind her layers is someone who struggles a lot with her self-image and is not nearly as confident as she appears. Pinkie, similarly, is someone who's very bouncy, very energetic, just loves people and making people happy. It's kind of like the sad clown, in a sense. Where the fact is she's like, my friends don't want to hang out with me today, and they're really suspicious. It's probably because they all fucking hate me, and none of them want to actually be my friend anymore, and they're plotting to get rid of me. And when she gets that realization, her hair deflates like a balloon, becomes just as, straight as it was here when she was an unhappy child, and she is left depressed. And in her depression, she has a psychotic breakdown where she has a party with a bag of flour, a bucket of turnips, a bunch of rocks stacked on top of each other, and a piece of fucking lint. And as she's talking, she has these moments where she just twitches, makes a face, and the background changes to be like this fucking splatter of insanity, showing that her grip on reality is thoroughly wavering. And I don't know if those are supposed to be the moments of lucidity or not. This has arguably a stronger climax. This, though, is so fucking memorable. It does beat Sonic Rainboom. And between the two of the... I love this episode. I really, really do. Can I have 2 double S's? I mean, it is my list, but the whole point of the double S is, this is the king. So I don't know. It feels wrong to have 2 double S's unless I can really explain. I can't even be here's the double S of the first half of the season. There are only 2 episodes. There's only 1 episode between them, and weirdly enough, it's the worst one in the show so far. It really makes this one stand out, too. You're in between this and this. Maybe the double S doesn't just have to be the king. You can have 2 kings. You can have it's a triumvirate if there's 3. What is it? A diumvirate? A biumvirate? A duo? I don't know. We can make it a triumvirate. I don't think I can put it that high. It goes here. It goes here. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and just talk about Best Night Ever. Best Night Ever is the season finale of season 1. It is the end of the Grand Galloping Gala trilogy. And it's really weird to think about it. It's this is a season finale that's only a 1-part episode. There's not very many like that. There's Magical... Okay, so season 2 is The Wedding, which is a 2-parter. Season 3 is Magical Mystery Cure, which is a single episode. Season 4 is Tyrek, which is a 2-parter. 5 is Glim Glam, which is a 2-parter. 6 is the Starlight Glimmer Show finale, which is a 2-parter. 7 is the Pony of Shadows, which is a 2-parter. I remember not liking that one very much, man. Season 8 is Cozy Glow, or as I like to call her, Darla Dimple. I love Cozy Glow. She's so funny. Friendship isn't magic. Friendship is power. Oh gosh, I can't. I'm not super excited to get to season 8. I didn't hate it. I was this is okay. I think the new 6 are fine. Cozy Glow is fantastic, though. It's like, I know she saves the season. I don't know if it really needed saving, but she's the best part of it. And then season 9, technically it's a one-parter because episodes 24 and 25 are the two-parter. And then 26 is the distant finale. But I believe they all aired together on the same day. So it feels kind of like it's more of a 3-part finale, which again means it's technically not a 2-parter. But my point is, Best Night Ever, along with Magical Mystery Cure, are the only finales that are kind of standalone episodes. Although again, there's kind of a trilogy of episodes dealing with this. Learning about the gala, making the dresses, going to the Ding Dang thing. Like Winter Wrap-Up, it has a big show-stopping number, which, if you've ever watched Into the Woods, you're just like, oh, this is Ever After. That's actually kind of neat as fuck. At the gala, Ever After. I like the song a lot. I like the dresses a lot. There's some nice continuity. And you get to see everyone do the shit they want to do. What does Twilight want to do? I want to go hang out with my mentor and talk with her all day. But your mentor is the princess. She's God? ? There's a lot of schmoozing going on, and because of that, like, while you're at her side all night, you don't actually have the chance to talk to her because she's too busy. You get Applejack, who just wants to go and sell her food, and she makes a first-minute sale. Shout out to my boy Soren. Shout out to Clipper. Doesn't make any more sales the rest of the night. The only other one she does is with Rarity and Blue Blood. Put a quick pen in that. Which, I mean, she even is like, I got you. Like, you're my friend. I got you. So it's not even really much of a sale. You've got Rarity, who meets Blue Blood. She meets her Prince Charming and realizes this dude is a fucking piece of shit. Oh my god, this is awful, and I don't want to do this anymore. And I think she's not the funniest part of the episode. That's Fluttershy. But it's really funny. Fluttershy just wants to meet, like, all these adorable animals who are too scared and skittish to meet her, which leads to her getting more and more frustrated. Leading to the single best part of the episode where she crashes where the animals crash into the gala. And Fluttershy follows them and yells, "You are going to love me!" And it's amazing. Rainbow Dash gets to hang out with the Wonderbolts and schmooze, but very similar to Twilight, these are celebrities. They are very popular, so a lot of other people are getting their attention instead. And Pinkie, oh yeah, shout out to Octavia. This is her first episode. Pinkie gets to go to the big party that she always wanted to go to, but it's not, young lady, it's not that kind of party. And realizes, like, oh, this is not the kind of fun thing I thought it was going to be. This is actually kind of shitty. And it's an episode about how, you know, sometimes just things are going to disappoint you. You can be really excited for something. You can be super fucking hyped for something, man. Like, I don't know, the Game of Thrones finale. Like, I brought it up once. I guess I'm going to bring it up again. Or, I don't know, something way more recent for me and way more personal for me. Kuro 2. And be really excited, really hyped. And you're like, oh, it's dog shit. This was awful, man. I don't want to do this. But even if you're disappointed, and even if shit lets you down, you know, you put your whole hoof in, you take it out, and you do the pony pokey, and that's what it's all about. Even if your date's allowed. I talked about, like, fun Pinkie songs. The pony pokey is actually kind of funny. Whereas it keeps going on, it's just referring to every character's individual situation. It's great. I think there's an argument that it's the best episode of the season. But ultimately, for me, these are my two favorites. Do I want to move this down here? I don't. Do I move this down here? I don't. I think I'm going to have two favorites. I don't care. Sue me. I guess this is what we're doing now. We'll see how it goes with other seasons. But that's season 1. So for the things I wanted to do, like I said, I wanted to first know, was the show ever good? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 S-tier episodes. not including the 2 double S's. So there are 9 S tier episodes, including those double S's. That is about a third of the season being absolute bangers. And even then, there's 6 A tiers, 5 B tiers. Oh, that's actually wild. 7, 6, 5, 4. I didn't do that on purpose. That's just kind of neat as fuck. The way I see it, there's only 2 bad episodes in this season. I think there's some that are kind of mid, but most of them at least have kind of something going for them. This one, not so much. Maybe that makes them more D-tier episodes in that regard. I don't know, but it kind of fucks with the thing that I had with the number slightly going down. It's like, I don't really feel disappointed with them, so I feel like that's fine. Some episodes that are very solid. You know what? I'm gonna... I know I just talked about how much I kind of liked the numbers and shit, but you know what? This is a really fun episode. Fuck. And so is this. I think I can put them up there. I think I can justify putting them up there because they are really fun episodes. Season 1 is a lot of fun. I don't think I would say it's the best season because as far as I am in Season 2, I'm like, fuck. Season 2 is good. There's so many really good, like, there's some all-time episodes. Because when I look at a lot of these, like, as much as I love a lot of these episodes, let me try that again. As I believe I said in part 1, what I want to do is take all of my S tier and double S tier episodes when I'm done watching the show and put them in a tier list. And probably the same with my F's and bottom of the fucking barrel episodes. Like, what are my all-time favorites? What are my all-time least favorites? I don't know how many of these are still gonna be, like, S tier episodes there. Because they'll probably go down to A. Like, as far as Season 1 goes, these are a lot of my favorites. But when we get other shit thrown in, like the Applejack's Parents episode, or Lesson 0, or Luna Eclipsed, or, like, most of Season 3, and, like, it might start to get really muddled. But Season 1, I genuinely think is a very good start. I think it is a lot of fun. There are a lot of bangers. I hope it doesn't get bad anytime soon. So far, over halfway into Season 2, it has not yet done that, and we take that. I would say these are my 2 favorite episodes. My favorite song, it's either Winter Wrap-Up or Best Night Ever. I'd probably give it to Winter Wrap-Up. I like it just a little bit more. Thinking of Season 2 so far, because I haven't gotten to the wedding yet, so I'm not going to include it. I would probably say Winter Wrap-Up is still my favorite song in the show. That's probably going to change when I get to the This Day aria. That might be my favorite in the show as a whole. I would not be surprised. But, I think that's it for this one. When I am done with Season 2, we will do this again, and then 7 more times, and then probably one more big one with all the good ones and all the bad ones.